So first and foremost, I actually don't say start with the offer in mind. I say start with what's the problem that you're solving and what's your promise over this masterclass.
Welcome back. We're here with Natalie, Jill, and me, Sinclair. And today I'm going to interview you a little bit about your MasterClass method. So I know you've been so successful with this, over tens of millions of dollars with your method. Tell us what makes yours different and what people need to understand about selling high ticket on masterclasses.
So masterclasses are exactly what they mean by the name, a masterclass. What I don't love is the term webinar when we're using that just to sell something. A masterclass to me is a next level of teaching. So when I'm leading a masterclass and I'm working with clients on how to lead a masterclass, you want to first and foremost think, how can I actually teach something of high value that's going to be worth people's time to come on? So yes, of course you can sell something at the end. Of course you can enroll people into a next level, something else, but you want to first and foremost not lead with an offer. You want to lead with how are you adding value and what is the promise that you're giving somebody, especially when you're looking at higher level clients. Everyone's schedules are busy. You want them to come and spend an hour with you or whatever it is and get a lot of high amount of value. So first and foremost, I actually don't say start with the offer in mind. I say start with what's the problem that you're solving and what's your promise over this masterclass, and then breaking it down into how are you actually going to teach that in a way that's not overloading, that's not going to overwhelm, that's not going to confuse, but actually people will walk away with a genuine solution to something. So that's how I start the process with a masterclass.
I love that. I think that's so important to remember that we have to deliver value. It's actually how you earn customers. Now, there's a fine art and a balance to that, because if you fill them up so much, they don't need you, right?
Of course.
For giving all that to think about. I'll be back in 6 months.
So most people,
make sure you don't do that.
Yeah. Most people teach too much in a masterclass. Yeah. The idea is not how do I teach them everything I know about this topic? It's how do I teach 1, 2, 3 concepts max and go really deep on those. In fact, I actually like teaching one very specific thing to the next level where you're really breaking it down into different steps. So for instance, I did a fat loss masterclass for years. It was the same one that I did over time. And what I taught in that was decide, vision, action. It was always decide, vision, action. I'm teaching decide, vision, action. And that did apply to fat loss. Could show nutrition in there. I could show workouts. I could show all of that in there, but I knew they were going to walk away with a decision, a vision for what they wanted, and a very clear action step. So I was very clear on that first. So the way, if you're about to design a class, you want to help your ideal client, you want to think what's one common problem that they have that I know how to solve well, and what is the high level thing that if I show them this and I can teach them this, they're going to feel empowered. They're going to feel they really gained some information. They're going to feel they spent a great amount of time with me, and they will likely want more. And they will like me. That's the key. Now, the part of how do they want more, obviously it needs to tie into what you do. Like you don't want to teach a masterclass on something not related to what you do. That wouldn't make any sense, because then it's kind of a bait and switch with, oh, by the way, I have a program here. So you want your offer to tie into that, be an extension of it, or be the next level of that problem.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So it's really interesting to me. We both coach really high level people, like entrepreneurs that have been in the game for a long time, and they're really good at what they do. What would you say are not the beginner mistakes of somebody like just learning the masterclass model, right? Mm-hmm. But what are the mistakes that clients that you and I make where they get stuck?
Yeah. So I would
version, et cetera.
I would say the absolute biggest place they get stuck is overteaching. I can't say it enough to them. I'll say don't overteach, because what happens is we as successful entrepreneurs, business owners, and founders, we have a lot of information. It's become simplified to us because we know it all in our head. But if this is a new concept to somebody else, for something to really land and to really make a difference in their life, we can't overwhelm with too many things. So the number one thing I'm always working with clients on is let's simplify it. You don't need to teach 12 steps. How do we teach 3, 2, or 1? Let's break it down. Let's do one area and go deep. You could take one concept and go super, super deep on that. And that would be way more impactful than teaching 12 things fast.
Yeah, and that's so true. And it really gives you a chance to shine as the expert, right?
Yes. And look, I'm guilty of it too. I know we both do master classes where we're guilty of it as well. And I have to constantly remind myself like, okay, this this is overkill. Like they don't need all this. So the way that I like to do it, let's say you just pick one concept. So I'm just going to make something up here. Let's say, I don't know, we're teaching, I don't know, give me a topic, Sinclair. What do we want to teach right now? Let's break it down real simple.
All day energy.
All day energy. Okay. So if you're going to teach all day energy, there's a lot of components to that. I'm assuming there's the nutrition, there's your sleep the night before, there's the supplements you're taking, there's, your relationships, there's how you're managing stress, it's how you're doing your schedule. There's all those things. So we could teach all those topics about all day energy, or we could think, what is the number one part of that we want to address first? So let's just pick sleep, maybe. So maybe sleep is the number one part. So instead of all the things, we say, we're going to just talk about sleep. Now what happens is you look at sleep and you say, okay, there's a whole bunch of things for sleep. Maybe there's blue light blockers. Maybe I've got to do, not have electronics in my room. I don't want EMF stuff. I don't want these supplements. So now you look, there's this whole bunch of stuff there. That's still too much. So you think, okay, what 2 or 3 things as part of that, if you were to do those it would change your sleep. Right. So you would pick 2. So let's say we're going to pick 3 things there. The topic would still be about all day energy. We would point out there's a lot of things, but today we're focusing on sleep specific, and there's a lot of details in sleep. But if you change these 3 things tonight, you're going to have a very different experience with your sleep. So we would pick 3 things. Maybe it's blue light blockers. Maybe it's not having electronics in your room. Maybe it's turning off your Wi-Fi in your house. I don't know. I'm just making this up. So we would go deep on those 3 things, give lots of example stories around those components. And then that leaves an opening for the next level. Okay, well, what do I do when I wake up? And that's your program right there.
Love it. So what works for me about this model is really getting to see you in action as the expert, where you are serving, you are delivering value right now, but you're not overwhelming them so much. Like, here's the 11 things. If your masterclass looks like it has 11 things,
no,
stop.
No. And what happens is I'll tell you the warning on that. When you have too many things, 11 things, people either leave in overwhelm, like, oh my gosh, there's so much. Why do they want to join a program? Like there's so much they need to already work on, or you don't want them leaving in overwhelm, or they'll say, I got everything I needed. I don't need a program. Mm-hmm. Right. So you get one of those 2 reactions, or they start talking about why things don't apply to them. So those things are all at risk, where if you can really go deep on some of the concepts there, people have breakthroughs. They feel empowered. They've actually learned something. They haven't wasted their time, and they're going to want more, and they'll like learning from you.
I love that. Very cool. So how I think about this is teaching what the problem is, why you have the problem, and going deep on just one small aspect of the solution. And then I usually end with like, here's what the rest of the architecture of the framework is. So you need to know if you can, like, what your system is. This is what my system looks like, but you don't teach the system.
Absolutely. You got it.
Love it. So if you'd like to learn more from Natalie, Jill, and me about how to do high ticket selling, especially with, discovery calls and the MasterClass delivery method, and how to update your offers so that you can play a bigger game for more money and less effort, then go ahead and check out the link below about our next class.